This is Good Morning Suncoast. We're here for you.
Good Tuesday morning, and thanks for joining us. I'm Jacqueline Matter.
I'm John Scalzi. Very warm day yesterday.
Yeah.
No doubt about it. It's amazing. We topped it out yesterday, 1 degree away from a record.
Wow.
So, yeah, again.
Those temperatures continue. I mean, last week, Josh was telling us record temperatures last week in the 85, 86 range, and then again, continuing on into the new year.
I see people out and they tell me, stop saying above average. It is our new average, so let's just be
embrace
upfront.
it.
Yeah, embrace it and get up front with it. Again, this morning, we're running on the warm side, taking a look across the region. We also have some fog around. Not really thick right now, but there is the potential for it to become thicker as we progress through the morning hours, especially along the coastline. A few scattered showers over on the other coast. Those are not going to bother us, but we do have showers to the north of us that are associated with a cold front that will be moving through the area overnight tonight. Still, today's high is going to be warm in the upper 70s to near 80, and then tomorrow we'll be able to bring down the temperatures a little bit. A series of cold fronts will be impacting us from this point forward, and we'll talk all about them in just a few minutes.
Thanks so much, John. We're taking a look at your Suncoast traffic this morning in Bradenton. Looks pretty clear out there as well. In Sarasota, moving on, it looks pretty clear as well at 5 o'clock on this morning, and then in South County as well, very clear. Just remember, school does start in Sarasota County this morning, so keep an eye on that as you make your morning commute. Well, topping our news this morning, a battle is brewing between the city of Sarasota and some entrepreneurs who are trying to make a living. Today, a meeting at City Hall will discuss the hot topic of unregulated open-air businesses, a concept not everyone agrees with. ABC 7's Ray Collins has the details.
This used to be a car wash run by a couple of young entrepreneurs, and across the street a woman sold hot dogs she grilled in her backyard. These were two of a number of open-air vendors who were making a living in Newtown.
Just a few months ago, thriving little businesses in here, and they was doing it on their own. But as you see now, it looked like a ghost. There's nothing going on.
Newtown resident Lance Shabazz is angry to hear the city of Sarasota is cracking down on so-called unregulated open-air businesses. He says it's not fair the city has a farmer's market on weekends, but doesn't allow residents to sell items during the week.
It's okay for them to sell on the city property, but it's not okay for the same people to sell on private property.
Tuesday, city commissioners will talk about how to handle open-air businesses that don't have licenses. Commissioner Liz Alpert says it boils down to this.
Do you allow that to continue as it always has, because it gives people a way to make some money to help themselves, or do you enforce the regulations?
Alpert says the city can't have double standards, only forcing some businesses to get licenses. However,
I think that's possible that we look at are the regulations too onerous for things like the mom and pop barbecue stand or car wash.
Shabazz says the city should focus more on bad sidewalks and untrimmed trees rather than knocking businesses off the streets.
If they for developing business and develop economic growth and want to create jobs, I think they should help these young people as young entrepreneurs that's trying to do these type of ventures.
Ray Collins, ABC 7, your Suncoast News.
Well, another point that will be made at that meeting today, Sarasota City Commissioners will discuss possible options for a 13-acre piece of land on MLK just east of 301. Also known as the Marion Anderson site, the former landfill may be a step closer to being redeveloped. The city spent years cleaning up contamination at the former landfill, and in August of 2016, area residents filled out surveys which showed overwhelming support to redevelop that lot. But the effort is being met with mixed feelings.
The city manager proposed to put infrastructure in to make it a warehouse type site. But we as a city commission said, let's be a little bit more creative. Let's look for an opportunity that serves the economic interests of Newtown.
Before they go in and try to develop that landfill, why not create a viable commercial district on MLK, which has already been zoned for a commercial use?
Now, during today's meeting, commissioners are expected to vote, which may lead to them issuing an open call to developers who want to transform that lot. If this does happen, we're told the focus will be to build something on that lot that will create jobs and help stimulate economic growth. And more than 200 people have signed a petition to stop rezoning one area in Palmetto. This week, Manatee County commissioners are considering the action for 13 acres of land, which would change its current zoning from suburban agriculture to heavy manufacturing on Bayshore Road near the Rubonia border. People who live nearby say they're worried about the traffic, noise, and pollution that a manufacturing plant could bring with it.
Why are we rezoning something not knowing what's going to come in here? We need to know what's going to be here before we understand what it is. It's the unknown that's so upsetting.
Manatee County commissioners will consider the request for rezoning of this land at a meeting on this Thursday. An angry dog attack has people across the Suncoast and nationwide concerned, as some feel it was justified, others not so much. The attack happened in Tampa on Friday, and police say a pit bull mix named Scarface started mauling his owner while she was trying to put a Christmas sweater on him. The woman's husband says he heard her screams and tried to pull the dog off, but he too was also attacked. Then the couple's 22-year-old son tried to stop the dog by stabbing it in the neck and head, and he as well was attacked too. Now the family finally managed to escape and left the dog in the backyard. News of the attack shocks many who hear it, including their neighbors.
I seen the dog. Dog was a pretty nice sized dog. And like I said, I don't see why they had a dog that they couldn't control.
Animal control officers shot the dog with a tranquilizer gun, but it did manage to get back into the house where the family's 2 other children were inside. Police had to use a beanbag gun and a stun gun on the pit before finally able to catch it. Now, the family is recovering this morning, but it is unclear if the dog will be euthanized. Now, we did share this story with all of you online as well, and we got some mixed reactions back on Facebook. Chris wrote, "These dogs are not pets. They are bred for violence or to be guard dogs." And Bobby Joe said that the owners are at fault. Dogs are not meant to wear sweaters. The dog reacted the way any dog can react when it feels threatened or is being hurt. And lastly, Derek commented saying, "I wouldn't say anyone was wrong and no one was right. Just a very scared, anxious dog and a family who wasn't able to pick up on that." To join in on our conversation about the dog, you can leave us a comment as well on our Facebook page. Meanwhile, locals are also frustrated after a pollution law has been ruled out. After only a few months, a DEP rule demanding organizations notify the public within 24 hours of a pollution event has now been thrown out by a Florida judge. ABC 7's Adam Cellini has the details.
Yeah, because of the law, Sarasota County recently put out a notice after raw sewage was leaking for hours in this neighborhood near Bee Ridge Road. The residents who experienced it saying they should know every time something like this happens.
As the cars were driving through this black sewage water, it was running down into the storm drain.
Larry Walker's family got a stinky surprise this holiday when raw sewage began overflowing on their street.
Well, literally water was spraying up higher than our heads out of the plug line on the outside of the house.
Around 100 gallons of waste had to be vacuumed that night. We know because the county told us. An emergency rule requires they notify the public within 24 hours of a pollution event. An amicable policy, but also illegal according to a Florida judge.
But in practicality, they skipped a step, and that is worrisome.
Becky Ayesh lobbied for several environmental laws as president of the Environmental Coalition of Southwest Florida and wasn't surprised when the judge ruled this one an overstep of DEP's legislative authority.
And when they cry that mantra, that's when they go before the legislature and we get the rules reduced for our protection. So that kind of sets us up for taking a fall.
She thinks Governor Scott was too concerned with saving face after the Mosaic sinkhole disaster. He skipped passing a law through the proper channels, a mistake she hopes lawmakers will soon cover up.
It really is imperative that the legislators do something right away. That should be front and center on their plate. So we're going to wait and see how that happens.
The governor's office says they will be reviewing the judge's ruling to determine what the next steps will be to make sure this or a similar law is passed soon here in the state of Florida. In Sarasota, Adam Cellini, ABC 7, your Suncoast News.
As of this morning, Florida's Amendment 2 to legalize medical marijuana in the state goes into effect. That means the Compassionate Cannabis Care Clinic of Venice will open its doors to patients. The clinic will not fall within the legal statutes of a medical marijuana treatment center. Instead, it will provide medical care as a general practice and will not be processing, dispensing, or providing cannabis medication. And some residents in Venice say they want more parks to be built this year, only the city says they are not necessary. After the push, city leaders say there are already enough parks in Venice, and those need to be used more efficiently. But some of the parks are hard to find, just appearing as large grass-filled areas located between homes. That's why Mayor John Hollick says Venice has a lot of park space, but not much of it is developed.
All the area that we have that our people use for recreation, it far exceeds anything that the city of Venice would need as far out into the future as we can look.
Mayor Hollick says the idea to add a new park is not entirely out of the picture as long as the public does know that it involves more costs. Well, a popular event on the Suncoast will not have its 7th year. The Food and Wine on Pine on Anna Maria Island began 6 years ago and showcased our community's food, art, wine, and music scene. Now, the event attracts around 5,000 people from around the world every year to Pine Avenue. But of course, Food and Wine on Pine takes hundreds of volunteers, lots of planning, so on and so forth, and organizers have agreed at this point they will not continue the event. Organizers do say, though, the event has raised more than $111,000 for nonprofits in our community. Palmetto's former police chief will be waking up with a new title this morning. Colonel Rick Wells will be sworn in this morning as the new sheriff for Manatee County. He takes over for Brad Stubbe, who is retiring after spending nearly a decade as the sheriff. Wells has more than 30 years of experience in law enforcement and has been second in command at the sheriff's office since 2015. And he's also not the only one being sworn in today. The city of Bradenton will also be swearing in a number of officials. Mayor Wayne Poston starts his 5th term in office, and Vice Mayor Gene Gallo, along with Councilman Harold Byrd, will also take their oath of office. And a somewhat nice day to expect for people, right?
Oh, yeah, I think so. Depending on where you are, actually. For our area, I think it's looking pretty nice. For North Florida, they just had a, 512? They just had a tornado warning expire.
Oh, wow.
Well, will expire in about 2 minutes.
Oh.
So it's depending on where you are in the state of Florida this morning.
So much going on across the state.
There's a lot. Luckily, our weather's benign. We'll talk about that in just a few.
All right, thanks so much, John. Well, still ahead, it's been a dry winter so far, and that's helping fuel unexpected brush fires. What firefighters are doing to monitor that situation. And coming up a little later in our hour, you may have noticed you're paying more at the pump as 2017 kicks off. Why analysts think that rising gas price trend will continue. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Are you a food lover, restaurant goer, or home cook? Then check out My Suncoast Dining on mysuncoast.com, your guide to the foodie lifestyle. ABC 7's own Chef Judy serves up her favorite recipes, cooking tips and trends, dining blogs, and helpful step-by-step videos. And you'll love the restaurant guide with direct links to your favorite Suncoast eateries. Whether you're cooking in or dining out, whet your appetite with tasty tips from Chef Judy at mysuncoast.com/dining.
Cancer does change people's lives. It is frightening. The treatment for fear is hope.
And what works for you is not necessarily going to work for somebody else. It does take a whole team. This is a facility that really cares about the outcome of the patients. So our job at Sarasota Memorial Hospital is to meet the needs of that individual any way we need to meet them.
Attention small business owners. Penn Funding announces the easiest and fastest business funding program, the Platinum Business Account.
We needed cash fast. Business is good, but this is an emergency. We needed some new equipment, and the banks wouldn't help us.
At Penn Funding, we like to say, yes, you're approved. With your Platinum Business Account, you could qualify for up to $50,000 or more. This amazing new business account funding program is so effective, you could have the cash you need in just days.
I called, spoke with an agent who pre-qualified us, and connected me.
Call now for your Platinum Business Account. If you've been in business for at least 6 months, you could qualify for up to $50,000 or more in just days.
I called Penn Funding and had my money fast.
Need cash for your business? Call Penn Funding now.
Call 800-658-3433. 800-658-3433.
Now, the official Suncoast weather with ABC7 meteorologist John Scalzi.
Current air temperature coming in at 67 degrees, which is, again, way on the warm side. We're looking at a dew point value way high at 66. So this is not typical weather for this time of year. It is very warm. It is kind of humid. We have some fog in certain locations. Temperature and dew point are within a degree of each other. The further south you go, the more likely you are to encounter fog at this moment. But fog could develop along the Suncoast, especially over Gulf waters at almost any time. Southeast wind coming in at 7 across the region, 70 Wauchula, Arcadia, Mayaca, Parrish, 69 degrees in Bradenton, 69 in Lakewood Ranch, 69 in Sarasota, 71 in Venice, 71 in Northport, 70 in Inglewood, 70 Punta. These are almost daytime highs for this time of year. That's how warm we're running at the current moment. We're looking at a couple of areas of disturbed weather, one now moving through parts of North Florida, the other approaching the Arklatex. I think what we'll notice is that we may get a little bit of high cloudiness from time to time from a little bit of the cloud cover to the north of us. But generally speaking, what you saw to the north stays to the north. We have a few scattered showers over on the other coast, but the rough weather really is up in the panhandle today. They're seeing some big storms up here. Lots of frequent lightning, very gusty winds, even some rotation in some of these storms that prompted a tornado watch for Gilchrist County, or tornado warning rather, for Gilchrist County just a bit ago. You can see that little brief rotation right there being recorded by the computers as the storm system drifts off toward Mason. This whole system is not going to impact us. It stays to the north. However, back behind it, there is a trailing cold front, and that cold front is part of a system, one of several systems, that will be affecting our weather with time. The Severe Storms Prediction Center puts this zone in a thunderstorm risk with a marginal risk of severe weather right along the Carolina coastline. But for us, we are not in that zone. I don't think we're going to see any thunderstorms today. Maybe late tonight toward tomorrow morning, we get to see a little bit of a shower as this cold front finally works its way through. But back behind it is a secondary cold front. It's one of 3 cold fronts that will be moving through our area before the new week. So we'll watch this first one move through here tonight. That'll be passing through by dawn tomorrow. And that will shift our winds a bit and bring us some slightly drier air, slightly cooler air. Tomorrow's high temperature probably about 3, 4, 5 degrees cooler than today's daytime high temperature. And then behind it, another reinforcing shot coming our way on Wednesday that promises to keep our temperatures a little bit cooler too, not allow them to creep back up into the 80s. So that'll be nice. For the remainder of the week, we stay in the mid to upper 70s until we get to the weekend. Then on the weekend, we really get a blast of cooler air. So a warm afternoon today, an overnight shower, cooler tomorrow. For boaters, not a bad day. South wind coming in at about 10 knots, switching to the southwest overnight. And here's your extended forecast. 2 fronts come through. Today's 80 will not be seen again this week. We'll be in the 70s Wednesday and Thursday. And then as we head into the weekend, a colder cold front comes our way Saturday with good rain chances and temperatures that'll only be in the 60s. How about that?
All right, thanks so much, John. Taking a look at our Suncoast traffic at 5:20 this morning. In Bradenton, we do have a few minor congestions, but traffic is picking up in that area, but mostly green across that area. Moving on to Sarasota, there is a backup on North Washington Avenue, where it connects at 301 to University. No accident being reported yet, but that may pop up as we continue on our morning commute. Moving on to South County, all is clear in that region. And again, school does start back in session today for Sarasota County schools. Record temperatures across Florida and little rain are giving an unwanted boost to the dry season. Brush fires are happening more often, and the Suncoast is not immune. ABC 7's Dwayne Lindo has the latest.
Firefighters are preparing for a greater brush fire risk than years past, warning residents that it may be the beginning of an active wildfire season. As of this week, the Florida Forest Service issued Sarasota and Manatee counties fire danger in the moderate range, with Lee County just south of us at a dangerous level, among the worst in the state. Just last week, firefighters in Northport were called to 2 separate brush fires. The fires, unrelated, but both burned several acres. Fire officials say it may be the start of a troubling trend, with temperatures in the 80s and conditions drier than usual this year. Fire officials say some people have no idea just how quickly brush fires can become out-of-control infernos. So, as a recommendation, officials ask that no one burn anything outdoors. Officials say some rain will obviously help, but unless a lot falls, they expect current conditions to remain about the same. Reporting in Sarasota, Dwayne Lindo, your Suncoast News.
Well, still ahead on Good Morning Suncoast, doing laundry can be time-consuming, we all know that, but a new washing machine could change it, allowing you to do multiple loads at once. And coming up at 5:30, President-elect Donald Trump plans to reveal new information on the alleged election hacking. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Joan London, and if you're worried about your parent or a loved one living alone like I was, and you want reliable senior care information, then call A Place for Mom, the nation's largest senior living referral service. You'll get free information on assisted living, Alzheimer's care, nursing homes, even important financial information.
They had obviously researched every place, not just given me names. They found me a place for what she could afford, and it was magnificent.
We're now very confident that she's safe, and they just helped every step of the way, and I can't thank them enough.
So if you're struggling to find reliable senior living information, call A Place for Mom. This is a free service, and you can trust them to help you.
Call right now to get your free Senior Care Compass ebook. Find out about the 5 best-kept secrets on financing senior care and assisted living.
Call now, 800-290-0352. 800-290-0352.
Gold fever has once again swept the nation. And everyone is rushing to Florida to strike it doubly rich. Introducing the $5 million Gold Rush Doubler. We're doubling cash prizes for over $752 million in payouts. And 36 prizes from $1 million to $5 million. The Florida Gold Rush is on. The Florida Lottery, just imagine.
Being the caregiver for someone you love is truly a blessing. But sometimes you can lose a part of yourself. To be your best, for them and for you, it's important to have time to be able to recharge your batteries. When you call Tidewell Hospice, they can give you a chance to do just that. And with the peace of mind of knowing your loved one is in the very best hands. Tidewell Hospice. It's more than you think.
Welcome back. It's 5:24 this morning. Google is now teaming up with Chrysler. ABC's Diane Macedo and Candace Gibson have the details on the latest merger.
In today's Tech Bites, taking car infotainment systems to the next level.
Fiat Chrysler and Google are collaborating on an Android system that they'll debut at this week's Consumer Electronics Show.
The new system means popular Android apps like Google Maps, Pandora, and Spotify could soon be incorporated into more vehicle systems.
And Samsung's new laundry machine combo is loaded with high-tech features, but the best It can handle 4 loads of laundry at once.
Pretty cool. You can also control the cycles of the Flex Wash and Flex Dry through a smartphone app. No word about the price or when they'll be available.
And a company in South Korea is showing off these cool 13-foot robots that look like something out of Avatar or Iron Man.
They are controlled both remotely or by someone sitting inside. There's even incredible video of the robot providing an unusual assist in a wedding proposal.
Maybe the robot can fold the laundry.
That, then, boom.
Those are your Tech Bites.
Tech Bites, brought to you by Geico.
Jack be nimble, Jack be quick. Jack knocked over a candlestick onto the shag carpeting, and his pants ignited into flames, causing him to stop, drop, and roll. Luckily, Jack recently had Geico help him with renter's insurance, because all his belongings went up in flames. Jack got full replacement and now has new pants he ordered from Banana Republic. Visit geico.com and see how affordable renter's insurance can be.
Would you believe my boy used to have food sensitivities? But then we fed him Blue Basics, and he's never looked or felt better.
If your dog has food sensitivities, it's time to try limited ingredient Blue Basics.
Traffic is backed up. There's an accident on the freeway that hasn't been cleared yet.
When heartburn hits, fight back fast with Tums Smoothies. It starts dissolving the instant it touches your tongue and neutralizes stomach acid at the source. Smoothies, only from Tums.
Check out My Suncoast Dining on mysuncoast.com for Chef Judy's favorite recipes, restaurant guide, and more. Go to mysuncoast.com/dining. It's time to upgrade your favorite news app. Now, ABC7's My Suncoast News app is better than ever with a dynamic brand new design that's faster and easier to use. Stay connected with new features that make it easy to submit photos, share stories on Facebook and Twitter, and save stories for reading at a later time. Download our free My Suncoast News app on your mobile device at your app store. ABC7's all-new My Suncoast News app. Just another way we're here for you. Powered by the Eye Associates, providing sight for life.
Are you considering joint replacement or revision surgery? Consider this. Dr. Edward Stolarski has performed thousands of successful joint replacement procedures and trained surgeons from all over the world. Using advanced technologies, Dr. Stolarski is able to perform some of the most complex surgeries.
I wish I knew about Dr. Stolarski much sooner. After the surgery, I don't have any pain. It's like I've got a 16-year-old hip.
My name's Ed Stolarski. What I really do is I give people back their life.
Schedule a consultation today.
Don't miss the 19th annual Thunder by the Bay Motorcycle Festival, January 5th through the 8th, to benefit Suncoast Charities for Children. This year's festival welcomes special guest Blue Oyster Cult to the premier sports campus at Lakewood Ranch on January 8th at 4 p.m. Admission is free. Festival events include a sporting clay tournament, kickoff party, welcome Thunder event, Cruise for Cash charity motorcycle ride, and a 2-day Rockin' and Ridin' at the Ranch festival featuring vendors, live music, a Taste of Thunder area, and more. VIP tickets are available. For tickets and info, visit thunderbythebay.org.
Selling your home? Insist on a 3D showcase tour from Gulf Shores Realty. Virtual tours are flat and boring and look more like a slideshow than a tour. A 3D tour from Gulf Shores Realty is like actually walking through the home without the drive. Get instant access to your next home from any device. Multiple views give homebuyers a perspective like no other. For a limited time, mention ABC7 and Gulf Shores Realty will provide a complimentary 3D tour with your new listing.
I owed the IRS $10,000.
I owed the IRS $20,000.
The IRS garnished my wages.
They put a lien on my house.
The IRS is the most powerful collection agency in the world. They do not give up until you pay.
I couldn't sleep. We were being audited. I called Tax Solutions Now, and a great big weight was lifted off my shoulders.
I called Tax Solutions Now, and they got the IRS off my back.
Tax Solutions Now had my wage garnishment lifted in 48 hours.
Tax Solutions Now can get you help. Our agents know the rules, can stop the pain, and get you the best deal.
We saved our home and overcame the most powerful collection agency in the world.
We connect you with a team of former IRS agents and tax professionals who get the IRS off your back. Time is running out. Call Tax Solutions Now.
Call 1-800-565-7740. That's 1-800-565-7740.
Coming up on Good Morning Suncoast, thousands are facing a traveling setback, but not due to the weather. What unexpected outage is causing the delay? And in with the new year is a new Congress. What's happening in Washington in preparation for President-elect Donald Trump's inauguration. And dangerous weather is sweeping the nation. The severe conditions that have killed at least 5 people so far.
Live from the ABC 7 studios, this is Good Morning Suncoast. We're here for you.
Welcome back and thanks for joining us. I'm Jacqueline Matter.
I'm John Scalzi. Yeah, rough weather across parts of the country. You know, unfortunately, lives lost. And that same system now moving through parts of North Florida, I'm sure giving concern to residents there. Yeah, absolutely.
You said just a few minutes ago, or about 30 minutes ago, roughly, that tornado watch was canceled.
A tornado warning, actually. Yeah, there was a rotation in one of the cells that certainly could have led to a tornado on the ground. That was up in Gilchrist County.
Right.
That is not heading here. Our weather is going to be very benign today, though we do have some patchy fog out there this morning.
It was pretty foggy when I was heading out the door this morning.
Indeed. It can come up on you quick, too. So watch for that this morning. Otherwise, as that fog lifts, we'll have a mostly sunny sky today to a partly cloudy sky. There are some showers over on the other coast. The thunderstorms and severe weather located well to our north. Not an issue for us whatsoever. Daytime highs today top out around the 80-degree mark, a little bit cooler perhaps. Cooler than we saw yesterday, though, when we almost tied a record. I think over the next several days, cooler temperatures are definitely on the way, and we will talk about that coming up in a few.
All right, thanks so much, John. Taking a look at your Suncoast traffic at 5:30 this morning in Bradenton. There are a few hot spots picking up throughout Bradenton as traffic is picking up as people are heading out the door this morning. State Road 64 as well as northbound on 301 seeing a little bit of increase in traffic there. Moving on to Sarasota, 301 and University Park is cleared up. There was a little bit of backup there earlier, but there is no reported accident. Also a little congestion southbound on 41. Over in South County, all is clear in that direction, but remember as you head out the door this morning, Sarasota County Schools back in session. Well, topping our news this half hour, thousands of airline travelers are experiencing delays after a customs computer outage. Many of the nation's busiest airports crowded with long lines and, of course, irritated travelers. Candace Gibson has the details.
Chaos and backups at airports across the country. From LAX to New York's JFK, frustrated flyers jammed into long lines.
The lines were completely chaotic. There was no system to who got through fast and who had to wait 2 hours.
Overnight, passengers, many of whom are coming off flights of 10+ hours, waiting several more hours to get through customs.
They heard you in one line, then they heard you in another line, then they heard you in another line, and it was just chaos.
U.S. Customs and Border Patrol confirming a computer outage affecting airports nationwide on one of the busiest travel days of the year. ABC News aviation analyst John Nance.
The fact that this is one of the busiest travel days of the year, including international travel, also probably augurs well for the fact that the system can get overloaded. Consequently, if there's going to be a time for it to break down, not only is this the most inconvenient, but it's also probably the most likely.
Plenty of passenger photos showing the disorder, the luggage at Washington Dulles Airport piling up.
This is ridiculous. This is the luggage getting squished.
The long lines snaking through the country's busiest airports in Atlanta and this scene in Miami. Tempers flaring as people begin to lose patience. But some travelers taking it in stride, including Carlos Rico, giving a thumbs up with a sea of people behind him. Candace Gibson, ABC News, New York.
Well, President-elect Donald Trump is back in New York this morning after spending time at his Florida estate. Now he's waking up with a promise to reveal new information on the election hacking. Trump is meeting with intelligence officials later this week while still questioning whether Russia interfered in the election. His incoming White House press secretary, Sean Spicer, calling out the finality of current reports.
This report that everyone keeps talking about is not final. The current president of the United States hasn't seen a final report. The intelligence community is talking about wrapping it up later this week.
Russians also may have targeted the power grid in Vermont. Now, malicious Russian code was found, but there is no evidence that the hackers succeeded. Trump says he could reveal new information that he says he has on the election hacking as early as later today. And as the new year is now underway, a whole new look is coming to Washington. The 115th Congress will be sworn in today as Republicans will continue to be in charge of both legislative houses. Once President-elect Donald Trump takes office, the new Congress is expected to make use of its power tackling things like Obamacare and immigration. The Senate will be responsible for confirming Trump's cabinet picks. Meanwhile, Paul Ryan will remain Speaker of the House and Mitch McConnell will continue as Senate Majority Leader. And McConnell says repealing Obamacare is the first item on the agenda for this year's new Congress. President Obama will head to Capitol Hill tomorrow to meet with congressional Democrats. Meanwhile, those Democrats are trying to devise a plan to keep Obamacare intact. President-elect Donald Trump has called for the program to be repealed and replaced as Democratic leaders continue to plan an aggressive public relations effort to highlight the benefits of Obamacare. President Obama will speak to the nation for the last time as president next week. The president will give his farewell address to Americans on January 10th, but he will not deliver the address from the White House like George W. Bush did in 2009. Instead, he will give the address from his home city of Chicago. That's also where his presidential library will be located. Now, President Obama says he's simply following the precedent set forth by George Washington. And thanks to the Obama administration, Florida may soon see a solution to its shortage of sand on some beaches. President Barack Obama has signed a water resources funding bill known as the 2016 Water Resources Development Act, which allows the Army Corps of Engineers to study the potential of using foreign sand here locally. Now, it'll take sand from areas like the Bahamas to widen shorelines and protect the coast from hurricanes. This morning, dangerous weather is being blamed for at least 5 deaths across our country. As ABC's Janae Norman reports, that includes tornadoes and severe storms in the south and heavy snow in the northern plains.
Tornadoes, flooding, and deadly storms sweeping across the southeast.
We're just asking everybody to stay in.
Blaring winds upwards of 60 miles per hour blasted through cities south of Dallas, tearing down power lines and hurling debris.
We have a big dent right here.
In parts of Mississippi, the wind overturning a tractor trailer and ripping up this roof. That same severe weather system packed 6 inches of rain. Heavy downpours turned yards into ponds.
I want you to see this. It is completely submerged. It is not passable.
And drenched parts of Alabama facing a flood emergency. Law enforcement asked residents to stay inside and were forced to rescue some of those who didn't listen.
This is a prime example as to why not be out. It's because we have a vehicle submerged in water at this time.
In Rehoboth, Alabama, 4 people were killed when a tree fell on their mobile home. The threat for tornadoes lingered over southwest Georgia and the Florida Panhandle, where authorities found a car partially submerged in water and say a man drowned nearby in floodwaters.
And parts of the south are bracing for more rain, specifically Georgia, where the heaviest rains are expected today. Meanwhile, in the northern plains, heavy snow brought near whiteout conditions and an Arctic blast is still on the way. Janae Norman, ABC News, Washington.
Well, along with that severe weather, we're also starting 2017 with higher prices at the pump. According to GasBuddy.com, the average price for a gallon of gas nationally is $2.34. Now, that's about 35 cents more than just a year ago. Oil analysts say the price has jumped 18 cents a gallon over the last few weeks, and that rapid rise is all due to OPEC's decision to cut output, which means a jump in the price of crude oil also. Drivers will likely spend anywhere from 25 to 50 cents more at the pump than they did in 2016. Now, that price jump didn't stop these guys from taking a rather unusual trip. Take a look at this. In Washington, police received a call about a suspicious U-Haul truck. When they got there, they found this. Again, take a look, an unlocked truck filled with as many as 4 ATMs and a safe. Now, residents at this apartment complex believe it's pretty obvious what was going on here.
Yes, I think they're probably stolen. Stealing ATM machines to take money out of or to put the skimming devices in.
Now, investigators say in situations such as this, it's not uncommon for a thief to take the machines across state lines, drain them of all of their cash, and then discard of them. Currently, they're waiting for a warrant to examine the vehicle and the ATMs more carefully at a police facility. And speaking of odd police incidents, a police chase in Los Angeles took an unexpected turn when one suspect stopped and started waving. That's one way to get caught for sure. While the driver of a dark-colored sedan led officers on a chase through the San Fernando Valley on Monday. There were reports he had been waving a gun, and police chased him for about 90 minutes before he was finally pulled over and then started walking backwards on top of his sporadic waving that he was doing. Officers shot him with what looked to be a round of beanbags before he was finally surrendered and then taken into custody. And rather than cause a fuss on the roadways, one restaurant delivery driver decided to go above and beyond for the better. A few days ago, a very sick woman, Fiona Cuffey, placed a food delivery order. Turns out that was her way of asking the delivery driver if they'd be kind enough to bring her some medicine. Right there in the additional comments section, if you take a look, you can see that she requested cold and flu tablets. And rather than ignoring the woman and ignoring her request, they were more than happy to help her so she could feel better. They did bring her the medicine, and now they say when she is feeling better, they'd like to offer her a free meal.
Sweet.
That's one way to do it, I suppose. I mean, I've definitely been home before by myself, and I'm like, I just want to eat, I just want some medicine, but I don't want to go out and get it. So send a delivery driver, right?
It's a great idea. I like that. I have to keep that in mind.
Interesting.
That was in Belfast, though, so I guess they had to go all the way to Ireland to find, you know, that kind of story.
Yeah.
Becky Mayaka, 62 degrees, reports very foggy conditions there. That's the name of the game today. Fog can kind of build up very quickly in your localized area, and in other places you won't see a lot. So watch out when you're on the roadway. It'll come up on you quickly if it comes up. We are looking at some changing weather over the next several days, though. We'll talk about that in just a few.
All right, thanks so much, John. Well, coming up, could magnesium be the key to warding off chronic health problems? More on that story coming up in our Health Smart. Stay with us.
At SWC Properties, we pride ourselves in providing to you the very best in customer satisfaction, and the secret's getting out. Maybe that's why so many people have chosen to list their homes with our friendly and qualified agents. After all, it only makes sense to list with a growing agency that markets in so many places. To list your home with SWC, give us a call at our office and ask for Beth Ann Muley.
Are you paying too much for your cable or satellite TV? The U.S. government passed a bill mandating free over-the-air digital transmission of all broadcast network television channels. That means with the new TV Freeway digital antenna, you can get free HD programming from your favorite broadcast networks 24/7 without a bill. You just plug it into the back of your TV and start watching all of your favorite broadcast programs for free. There are no contracts to sign, no hidden fees, and no monthly fees. Just free HD broadcast TV. Take it with you anywhere. Call or go online now to get your TV Freeway stick for the incredibly low price of only $14.99. But wait, call or click now and you can get a second TV Freeway stick for a second TV. Just pay a separate fee, but you have to order right now.
Call 1-800-809-5196 to get your TV Freeway. Call now or go to tvfreeway.com. So call 1-800-809-5196. This offer's not in any store. Call now.
Being the caregiver for my husband is truly a blessing, but sometimes it's easy to lose a part of myself. To be my best, for him and for me, it's important to have time to be able to recharge. When I called Tidewell Hospice, they gave me the chance to do just that. They helped me find the time to care for myself, all the while with the peace of mind of knowing my husband is in the very best hands. Tidewell Hospice, it's more than you think.
Today, everyone is looking for carpeting that lasts longer. G. Fried has you covered with Karastan. With a legacy of quality and integrity, we provide you with a huge selection of Karastan carpets with exclusive lifetime limited warranties. All installed by our highly skilled, highly knowledgeable team. Come ask us why Karastan is the best and most durable. G. Fried Flooring America. Our world is at your feet.
Now, the official Suncoast weather with ABC7 meteorologist John Scalzi.
The current air temperature and the dew point temperature are pretty close together, so consequently we have a good chance of seeing fog formation this morning. Also, the winds southeast now at about 7 continue to pump moisture in our direction. That southeasterly wind, the high humidity, the warm temperature to start off the day, all indicate an above average afternoon in store for us. We have right now 69 degrees in Wauchula, 70 in Arcadia, 69 Myakka, Parrish, Bradenton, Lakewood Ranch, 71 a little warmer down in Northport, so Punta Gorda, Venice, and Inglewood follow. Longboat Key coming in at 71. And as I mentioned, there is some patchy fog across the region. Now, we got a couple of storm systems that are working in the Deep South right now. One, the one that brought fatalities to parts of the Deep South over the last 24 hours. That continues to press eastward, not a player in our weather. However, it is a player to the north of us in the north central part of the state, and also into the Panhandle. There have been some big storms there. All of this gradually drifting off the Atlantic coast, away from us. It's part of a cold front. Back to the west, another cold front. All of these systems will have to make it through our area, and they will over the next 36 hours. And we have a chance at seeing a return to more average temperatures, at least for a couple of days. And then we're going to go below average as we head into the weekend with some cooler air arriving on our doorstep Saturday. Talk about that in a second. Right now, everything is very quiet on Titan Radar for us. But as I mentioned, big thunderstorms have been rumbling through parts of north central Florida this morning. There have been up around Gilcrest, even some rotating storms that triggered a tornado warning for that area, and special marine warnings for around Apalachicola back through Cape San Blas. Big storms there moving onshore with some gusty winds. So all in all, a very active weather day across the northern part of the state. And you can see some of the larger thunderstorm cells kind of moving across the region. These not heading south, so we don't have to worry about those. Now, to the north of us, there's also a low-pressure area kind of spinning around, moving up to the north and to the east, dragging a cold front through our area. It's one of a series of cold fronts that's drawing down some very cold air from the north. The thunderstorm forecast for today from the Severe Storm Prediction Center shows basically North Florida and the mid-Atlantic coast. Does not include our area. The highest threat for severe weather today will be the Carolina coast. So if you're traveling, say, to Raleigh Airport today, there may be some airport delays due to thunderstorm activity. Right now from Tampa Bay southward, we just really don't have to worry. Low pressure area moves off to the north and to the east, takes those big storms with it. A secondary cold front arrives on our doorstep tomorrow night. This one comes through tomorrow morning. So we look for a couple of shots of reinforcing cold air that kind of trim down our daytime high temperatures from near record values where they were yesterday to more average temperatures for this time of year. First one comes through with a chance of rainfall, I think. That'll be probably around drive time tomorrow morning, this time tomorrow morning. And then the second front will come through tomorrow night into early morning hours as well. So again, a couple of reinforcing shots of cooler air, dry afternoon, but watch for the rain chances to increase tonight. You can see that bubble of cool air sinking southward. That is taking the northern plains and really driving temperatures down about 20 to 30 degrees below average for this time of year for them. And we get a little taste of that cooler weather coming our way this weekend. South wind coming in at about 10 knots for boaters today. Should be nice, 2-foot seas, light chop. Just watch for a scattered shower later in the day. And the forecast calls for back to average temperatures, I'd say, by Friday. And then another front comes through Saturday with a chance of rain, and that one significantly lowers our temperatures to the first time in a while below average daytime highs. Back to you, Jacqueline.
It is 5:48 this morning. If you're heading out the door, there is some traffic picking up in Bradenton as there's some scattered congestion across the area. Hot spots picking up throughout State Road 64 as well as northbound on 301. Over in Sarasota, 301 and University Park is cleared up. There is some traffic increasing on southbound traffic on Washington, 301, and in South County, all looks clear out in that direction. Well, the Department of Health and Human Services recommends that everyone gets at least 150 minutes of moderate activity or 75 minutes of vigorous activity every week. But if you haven't exercised in a while, you may need to take it easy in the beginning, start slow, and then progress gradually to avoid any injury. And as your stamina improves, work your way up to longer intervals. They also urge you to listen to your body if you do feel dizzy, nausea, shortness of breath, or pain. They tell you to take a break. And if you really don't feel well, don't feel bad if you decide to take a day off. Well, new research points to a practice at some health food stores that may not be healthy at all for your teen. While many of the products on the shelves of these stores are geared toward adults, the lure of a bulkier frame has many teen boys looking for the gains, as many of them will say as well. And pediatricians are worried about those gains. The American Academy of Pediatrics urges young teens to avoid certain supplements like creatine and testosterone boosters. These can be harmful to developing bodies and are often misused. Doctors recommend skipping the supplements and instead focusing on a proper diet and exercise. And another new study is showing diets rich in magnesium may help lower the risk of chronic health problems. Of the problems it can prevent include heart disease and diabetes. Magnesium can be found in foods like leafy greens, fish, nuts, and whole grains. Some previous studies linked insufficient magnesium levels to a greater risk of developing a wide range of health problems. Compared with people who had the lowest levels of magnesium in their diets, people who got the most magnesium were 10% less likely to develop a heart disease, 12% less likely to have a stroke, and 26% less likely to develop diabetes altogether. And another study seems to link a drop in traffic accidents to medical marijuana. Since 1996, 28 states have legalized marijuana for medical use. Traffic deaths dropped 11% on average in those states. Now, researchers made this discovery after analyzing 1.2 million traffic fatalities nationwide. The study authors aren't sure why this is the case exactly, but it's possible marijuana users are more aware of their impairment than drunk drivers. It could also be the result of an increased police presence following the enactment of medical marijuana laws. And still ahead, twin toddlers find themselves in a scary situation that has left their parents issuing a warning to other parents. Stay with us, we'll have that warning coming up.
ABC7's My Suncoast News app is better than ever with a brand new design that's faster and easier to use. Download our free My Suncoast News app on your mobile device at your app store of choice. Powered by the Eye Associates, providing sight for life.
At SWC Properties, we pride ourselves in providing to you the very best in customer satisfaction, and the secret's getting out. Maybe that's why so many people have chosen to list their homes with our friendly and qualified agents. After all, it only makes sense to list with a growing agency that markets in so many places. To list your home with SWC, give us a call at our office. And ask for Jackie Avina.
Is debt beating you down? You need discipline. You need
the Debt Ninja. If you owe $10,000 or more to the IRS, you could be facing wage garnishments, levies, liens, property seizure, cancellation of business license, closure of business. The Debt Ninja fights your IRS debt. That's why you need the Debt Ninja. The Debt Ninja has found the best companies in the country who are on your side to fight debt. Want to learn if you qualify for the IRS Financial Hardship Program? Stop the IRS from garnishing your wages. Even if your bank account has been seized, if you have undeclared taxes, if you have existing IRS debt, it's not too late to call, so grab your phone now. Call the Debt Ninja at 800-945-0083. That's 800-945-0083. Settle your IRS debt to get the power of the Debt Ninja. Dial this number now, 800-945-0083.
Are you considering joint replacement or revision surgery? Consider this. Dr. Edward Stolarski has performed thousands of successful joint replacement procedures and trained surgeons from all over the world. Using advanced technologies, Dr. Stolarski is able to perform some of the most complex surgeries.
I wish I knew about Dr. Stolarski much sooner. After the surgery, I don't have any pain. It's like I've got a 16-year-old hip.
My name's Ed Stolarski. What I really do is I give people back their life.
Schedule a consultation today.
All right, welcome back. Here's a look at what's coming up in our 6 o'clock show. There's a new sheriff in town. Manatee County will swear a new sheriff, Rick Wells, today. He replaces retiring Sheriff Brad Stubbe. And a controversial business will open its doors in Venice. The Compassionate Cannabis Care Clinic officially begins seeing patients today. And a popular event on the Suncoast is no more. The Food and Wine on Pine that takes place on Anna Maria Island every year has officially been canceled. Organizers agreed not to continue the event. Now, having one toddler can be a handful and two can be overwhelming, of course, but in the case of these Utah twins, it was a good thing they were together. That's terrifying, as one of the twins is now being dubbed a hero. The twins found themselves in a pickle after trying to climb onto the drawers of the dresser in their bedroom like any toddler would be doing. And then they tipped it over and trapped one of the twins, Brock. His twin, Bowdy, immediately jumped right into action and helped push the dresser off his little brother. Thankfully, gosh, that video is just terrifying to watch. The boys' parents were shocked when they looked back at the video of the incident on their camera. So as a warning for other parents, they posted it online.
So accidents are going to happen. So we just want to spread awareness to this one accident that happened and hope that it doesn't happen to any other families.
Thankfully, Brock and Bowdy were both fine after the incident. Their parents say they have since bolted the dresser to the wall, and good for them. That's so scary to watch.
That's terrifying.
Oh my gosh. Luckily, it was a good outcome for them, but I mean, that could have easily turned completely different.
Oh, it is thousands of times every year.
Yeah.
It's a different outcome. That's a very dangerous thing. TVs, I think, are particularly dangerous.
Yeah, they are.
For children. So we have to use extra caution, I guess.
We do.
Nice day today. We'll have the forecast for you when we come back.